Now, the one thing we haven't talked about yet, of course, is immigration. Once again, we have to look to your neighbor to the north, the United States of America, particularly to the state of Arizona. What's the situation with that now here?
Well, first, my opinion is migration is a problem coming from a reality. And what is the reality? There are two economies. One is a big economy, capital abundant economy as American, and the other is small economy, labor abundant as the Mexican economy. And it's almost a textbook case in which two factors, labor and capital, needs to work together. And the real solution for migration in the long term is to provide better opportunities for Mexican people in Mexico to get a job and to maintain their families. And that is exactly what my government is trying to do. Meanwhile, there is a problem that we need to fix. So we need to take out of the shadows millions of people living already in the United States, paying taxes to the United States, providing services to the Americans, helping to take care of their kids, washing the kitchens of the Americans. So the Mexican people is working in favor of the recovery of the economy of the United States. So that's my point. And the other is, I don't want to contribute to generate or exacerbate some kind of anti-Mexican feeling or anti-American feeling in Mexico. I think it's the worst thing that we can do as neighbors, friends, and allies as we are.
Nelson Omar Chilel Lopez was born in April of 1997. Family and friends simply call him Omar. He grew up amid the coffee farms of El Porvenir, Guatemala, a poverty-stricken area located about an hour south of the Mexican border. Seasonal work is labor-intensive with little pay, picking coffee beans for about 8 cents a pound. In search of higher-paying work, his mother, Fermina, left her family behind in 2006, crossing illegally into the United States and settling in Phoenix, Arizona. Omar's older brother and older sister soon followed. He was left behind. Crushed by their separation, Omar convinced his mother in 2010 to pay a coyote to lead him and an older family friend through the Arizona desert. Omar was 13 at the time. Should we help them? Should we stop them? Fermina sends $800 to cover the cost of the first part of their journey. On July 6, the coyote calls Fermina. Doña Teresa and Omar are part of a group that will cross into the Arizona desert that night. In a few days, they will arrive in Phoenix. They were crossing the desert at the peak of the summer heat. Should we have helped them? Should we have stopped them? Almost 2 years later, the partial skeletal remains of an older woman and a young boy were found in southern Arizona, and Fermina was finally reunited with her son. Omar's story is representative of a new trend on the border. In 2013, authorities apprehended nearly 14,000 minors, twice as many as in the previous year. Should we stop them? Should we help them?
It was really quick. Within a week and a half, they deported him. And I threw myself on the floor and I was just crying, screaming.
Even though Trump is saying we're deporting bad hombres, well, sadly, they're deporting good hombres too.
Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. If America has a slogan, it would be that from the Statue of Liberty. But you don't need me to tell you that Donald Trump got elected, in part, on a platform of deporting some of the very people who came to the country under that banner. So I'm in Houston, Texas, where there are 500,000 undocumented immigrants. And I've come here to ask if what the Statue of Liberty stands for still applies.
We're gonna call Daddy in a little bit, okay?
First, I want you to meet the Escobars, Rose, Walter, and little Carmen. But really it's the person who's not here that I'm going to tell you about. Jose Escobar, the children's father and Rose's husband, lived in Houston for 17 years. And every year, because he was undocumented, in order to stay in the country, he reported into immigration. Jose'd answer a few questions, and they'd let him go. This past February, when Rose went with him to his appointment, she was told he was being detained.
Well, I ran in, and he was surrounded by 5 guys. I'm like, honey, what's going on? He goes, I'm so sorry, Rose. And then Carmen was reaching out for Jose. And Jose was like, Rose, just please leave because I don't want Carmen to see me like this. And he's crying. I'm like, Jose, look, don't sign anything. He just hugged me, and I hugged him, and I said, please be strong. He goes, you be strong for the kids. And I said, I will, Jose, but just...
Hey, are you ready? Let's go! Tiptoe to Panda!
A week later, Jose Escobar was deported to El Salvador, where he's living with his grandmother. Jose hadn't stepped foot in the country since he was a kid.
As long as we were together, we were okay. But now, he's far, far away.
Swim to 10.
You want to bring me your tablet, Walter, so we can call Daddy?
2, 6.
Rose was born in the U.S., and so were her kids. She puts a brave face on the situation, even though now she's the only breadwinner.
Papi? Yeah, we're not trying to call Papi. Ah, there we go. See, now we can see Papi.
Hi, Dad.
Hey, Carmen.
Say besito, Papi. Besito.
After school, they call Jose, thousands of kilometers away.
Walter,
What?
come here, I'll show you. Let me show you a trick.
And he still tries to help Walter with his homework.
Okay, how's the trick? Come in your blocking.
Uh-oh.
What just happened?
Hello, hello,
Can you see us?
hello, hello.
Can you see us?
Soon after Jose was deported, Rose told Walter what happened. Her childlike explanation, with the politics stripped away, might be something we could all learn from. The simple story of a boy crossing into the U.S. for a better life.
Daddy came into the United States when he was a little boy, and he didn't ask for permission. And he goes, so is Daddy a bad man? I'm like, no, because you know how you do things, but you don't know any better because you're a little boy. And he goes, yeah. I'm like, same thing with Daddy. He was a little boy. Now that he's a man, he's trying to do the right thing.
And that means not sneaking back across the border. Rose tells me that Jose could be back tomorrow, illegally. But this time when he returns, they want it to be for good.
What?
Say 100 in Spanish.
25.
25, no. 100.
No,
100.
100. Yeah. It's okay, I'll teach you.
We'll teach you
That sentence, "It's okay, I'll teach you," hangs there in the Escobar living room. It'll likely be 5 years before Jose can return legally.
When he was deported, what kind of things went through your mind?
The first thing that came to mind is the president. It's changing everything now.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'll figure it out. I know how to do all that.